friends, I'm Steph from CheapskateCook.com and StephanieJenkins.com, and today we're going to do some holiday baking. This is literally like my favorite time of year when it comes to the food and the cooking, and so I'm going to show you how we make a naturally sweetened sweet potato casserole. And of course, this is my version of cooking, so I'm going to show you all kinds of different substitutes, and it's going to be very relaxed with real food and simple ingredients. If that sounds good to you and you like saving money and eating healthy, hit the like and subscribe button. First of all, I already love Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. I love everything about these meals, but we've been eating real food for like 15 years now, and we've found all kinds of ways to incorporate real food into our holiday dinner. Not because we're trying to make the holidays a super healthy time of year. We're gonna enjoy the cookies, we're gonna enjoy extra carbs, it's gonna be delicious. We've made little swaps over the years that just make the meal a little bit better, and you can just feel a little bit better about it. So sweet potato casserole is basically dessert that is on your dinner plate, especially if you make the kind with marshmallows in it. So instead of a sugar-loaded sweet potato casserole, we make ours with natural sweeteners, and we've had years and years of experience with cooking for food allergies, so I can show you a couple of tweaks if you've got dairy allergies or egg allergies in your family. For this dish, our sweetener is maple syrup, and then we make a pecan topping that can use any kind of granulated sweetener that you feel comfortable with. I'm gonna show you how we use coconut sugar because that was just something that we felt comfortable with, and we could actually find it where we live, which is in a more rural area. A couple of things to keep in mind. Sweet potato casserole is the perfect dish to try using more natural sweeteners. First, because it's not a dessert, so you don't have this expectation that it's going to taste like pumpkin pie or something like that. Second, because the texture is very forgiving. So a lot of times when you're swapping sweeteners from like regular white sugar to honey or maple syrup, it's gonna mess with the texture a lot. Well, sweet potato casserole is like a custardy, mushy something or other, and so the texture is pretty flexible. So the fact that you're using a liquid sweetener in place of a granulated sweetener really doesn't affect the end result that much, and if it does, it still tastes delicious and it's not a bad thing. And then with coconut sugar, you don't have to use coconut sugar. I'm using that because that's the most like natural sweetener that was granulated that I could find where I live, which is in a kind of rural area, but I found it at Walmart. I mean, it was expensive because it's a like fancy trendy sweetener, but I just use a little bit in this recipe. Or you can use something like sucanut or turbinado, or just plain brown sugar. Remember, it's the holidays, so we're not going to freak out trying to make this a really healthy meal. We're just going to focus on using simple ingredients that are better for our body, but not stress out about them being perfect. So for this dish, I used what I had available to me and I called it good. I'm gonna show you ways that you can use other things and swap out other ingredients so that whatever you have available to you, you can still make a really delicious, real food-based sweet potato casserole. Also, I never measure for this recipe. I did for the video and for the recipe to share with you so I could actually share with you amounts, because I know for some people this is really important that you have amounts, especially if you're trying a new dish for the first time. But I just wanted to let you know that this recipe is so forgiving that you can cook like I am and just kind of pour things into the bowl and mash it all up, and it's going to be really delicious. Okay, let me show you how we do it. sweet potato casserole, you peel and boil the sweet potatoes, but I prefer baking them because I think it's a richer flavor and I don't have to peel the sweet potatoes before they're baked. You can also bake them a few days ahead of time, so it's easy to put everything together before the meal. Some people say in order to bake sweet potatoes you need to poke holes in them with a fork beforehand, but honestly I don't, and no sweet potato has ever exploded in my oven. I bake them at 350 degrees or 375 degrees. I do either one depending on what else I'm baking at the same time, because when you're getting ready for the holidays, you're usually baking a couple of different things, and sweet potatoes are pretty flexible when you're just throwing them in the oven and waiting for them to cook. I like them nice and soft, and you can test that by pressing on them with your oven mitt. Once the sweet potatoes have cooled, you're going to peel them, and honestly, that is the hardest part of sweet potato casserole, and it's not even that hard. It's a little messy, but you can do it in like a minute, no problem. And it's way easier than trying to peel them raw before you boil them. Next, I'm going to pour all the ingredients into the bowl and mash it all together. Really easy. You can use a handheld mixer for this part, but I don't have one, so I just use this potato masher and it does the trick. Here's a real food trick. Rather than using cooking spray for your baking dish, just take cold butter and unpeel one end and then use it like a marker to grease it up. Side note, my family prefers marshmallow topping on their sweet potato casserole, but when I make this, they still love it. It's such a crowd pleaser, they can't stop eating it, and it's made with real food. So that's a win! Yay! Okay, that's how we make naturally sweetened, simple ingredients sweet potato casserole with lots of options for food allergies. If you like this recipe, please hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you to Kitchen Stewardship for collaborating with us in this video. I'm Steph from cheapskatecook.com and stephaniejenkins.com, and I will see you next time for more ways to save money and eat healthy. And we just use maple syrup. The thing about the hair is it keeps doing weird things. Just hold still.